Hello friends, welcome on 100 on 100 in Eco platform. This is session 2 of preparation for prelims series for standard 10th and 12th subject economics, and today's session will be common, which will be covering up chapter demand. Standard 10th and 12th ICSE and ISC can pay attention to this particular video, and please do share, like, subscribe to my channel, and do write to me if you have any queries or if you would like to join the tutorials for any short or long course. On ecotraininggk@gmail.com, I would have given it in the description box, but I prefer to verbally tell to all my viewers through the video. Do write to me if you have any queries. So to get started with demand, the most commonly asked question from demand chapter in the boards is, why is there inverse relationship between demand and price? Or why does the demand curve slope downward? So there are 5 reasons. Standard 12th, they can ask you a 6-mark question wherein you would have 5 points. So this is possible that this question can come for a 6-marker or it can come for a 3-marker. Standard 10th and 12th, you have 5 points which are the same, just that the header is little different for standard 10th. I will be discussing the head point of standard 12th. So it is law of diminishing marginal utility. It's the same for 10th. Income effect, substitution effect, point number 2 and 3 are also the same for standard 10th. And the 4th point and 5th point is the increase in the number of users, and for standard 10th it is number of users. And the 5th point is that the several uses of a commodity, and for standard 10th it's just uses of a commodity. So to get started with the first point, we have to explain the point, why does the law of diminishing marginal utility give rise to the inverse relationship between price and demand. Law of diminishing marginal utility states that as the consumer consumes more and more units of a commodity, the satisfaction, that is the utility derived from the consumption of one additional unit of a commodity, goes on falling. You also must have experienced that, students, right? And a consumer equates the price that he pays for a commodity with the utility that he derives. Once the consumer knows that with the additional consumption the utility is going to fall, naturally the consumer is willing to pay less for more consumption, because he knows that with more consumption utility is going to fall. Tries to equate price and utility. So you can explain that the consumer is willing to pay equivalent to the utility derived. Therefore, a consumer is willing to pay lesser and lesser as he buys more and more. This itself establishes the reverse or inverse relationship between demand and price. Coming to income effect, you have to first define what is income effect. Income effect is the change in demand on account of change in real income rising from the change in the price of a commodity is known as income effect. Oh well, it's a bit twisted. 3 parts. Change in demand due to change in real income resulting from change in the price of the commodity. What does that mean? If the price of a commodity changes, you can take an example. For example, if the price of a commodity falls, the number of units that you can purchase, that's the real income. Income in terms of number of units that you can buy will increase. For example, if the price of milk falls, you can buy more milk, but if you don't need more milk, you will continue to consume same quantity of milk. And if you can save on the money that you were spending earlier for milk, you can divert it for purchase of another commodity. That itself justifies that once the price of one commodity falls, the real income that increases gives the consumer additional purchasing power with which the consumer can buy more. This itself establishes inverse relationship. The exact notes you will get in the PDF, what is to be written in the exam. This is just colloquial language in which I explain, but what is to be written in the exam is written in the PDF. Substitution effect is the effect on demand due to changes in the relative prices of substitute goods. Or you can say, standard 10, that substitution effect means substitution of expensive good with a cheaper good. You can simply say that, and with an example you can further explain that you are into the consumption of a particular shampoo or a soap or edible oil, and once a consumer realizes that the price of the substitute good has fallen, naturally the demand for that commodity will rise and the demand for the commodity which was currently being discussed will fall. So remember, in case of substitute goods, the price of the substitute and the demand for the other commodity goes hand in hand. If the price of the substitute rises, the demand for this commodity rises. The price of the substitute falls, the demand for this commodity falls. Well, coming to number of consumers or increase in the number of consumers. So if the price of the commodity falls, those consumers who remained out of the market because the price of the commodity was high and because of the fact that they could not afford to pay for the commodity on account of its price being high, and therefore they remained out of the market, have now entered the market because the price has fallen. So those consumers who were existing consumers increase their quantity purchased, quantity demanded, and those consumers who are out of the market enter the market, leading to increase in the aggregate demand. So this itself justifies the fact that price falls, demand rises. Several uses of a commodity. If a commodity can be put to several uses, I'm referring to students mind it. I'm referring to composite demand, milk, coal, etc. In case of a composite demand kind of a commodity having multiple uses, when the price falls, demand rises to a great extent because the commodity is put to several uses. As the price falls, the consumers start using the commodity for every small purposes also. And similarly, if the price rises, consumer stops making use of that commodity for unnecessary purpose also. So here I have discussed 5 reasons for the downward slope of demand curve and inverse relationship between price and demand. Talking about the downward slope, while drawing a graph, if you are plotting price along the y-axis and the quantity demanded on the x-axis, one variable is showing increase and the other is showing fall in its values, you get a downward slope. The slope falls down from the left to right. Such a curve is called a negative curve or a downward curve, which is typically in case of those variables which are inversely related. See you in the next session. Bye.